Secrets along Alligator Alley. I was 10 years old, traveling with my family on vacation in Florida in the summer of 1977. We were driving down Alligator Alley, the long, lonely highway cutting through the Everglades, a ribbon of asphalt flanked by murky swamps and tangled greenery. The sun glared off the road ahead, and the heat had a way of pressing against your skin even through the car windows. At first, the road seemed endless, empty except for our station wagon. But every few miles, we saw the same thing: another vehicle pulled over on the shoulder. That alone might not have been unusual. Maybe someone had a flat tire, I thought, except that people were lying on the ground next to their cars. They weren't sunbathing or napping. They were crouched low in the grass, arms stretched into the weeds, some gathering handfuls of green plants. I stared out the window, squinting against the sun. "Dad, why are all those people lying down like that?" He glanced over, his hand resting casually on the steering wheel. Those folks," he said, his voice calm but carrying a faint chuckle. "They're stoned from smoking the ditch weed." "The what?" I asked, my young mind struggling with the words. "Ditch weed," he repeated. "It's wild hemp that grows along the roadsides down here. Nobody planted it for anyone to smoke, it's just there. Some people know where to find it and, well, they use it." I pressed closer to the window, watching a group of people bending low in the sun-baked grass, filling bags with the scraggly plants. Their movements were slow and deliberate, almost reverent, and a faint laughter drifted toward the car from a couple of the older kids. The world seemed different from what I thought of as normal. "How does it get there?" I asked, still curious. Dad shrugged. "Hemp has been growing wild in Florida for a long time. Sometimes it's from old plantings for fiber. Some people planted hemp decades ago to make ropes and cloth. Other times it just spreads. Seeds blow in the wind, animals carry them, water moves them. Roadsides like this, especially in places like the Everglades, are perfect for it. Nobody tends it, it grows where it wants." I didn't fully understand, but it sounded magical in a strange way. The idea that a plant could just appear along a road and become a secret treasure fascinated me. My attention drifted back outside. Every few miles, the same scene repeated: a car on the shoulder, a group of people crouched low, gathering the wild hemp in small bundles. It was like a hidden pattern, a secret society no one told me about until now. The swamps stretched endlessly, reflected in shimmering heat waves that rose from the asphalt. Occasionally, we passed a sign warning about the dangers of crossing the road. Dad had pointed out an alligator sunning itself once, far off in the marsh. But even the wildlife seemed small and mundane compared to the strange ritual taking place along the roadside. I asked more questions, and Dad indulged me. Back in the 1960s and 70s, there were lots of people, some hippies, some just curious kids, who would go out looking for this stuff. It wasn't like it is today, with stores or whatever. You had to know where to find it. Roadsides like this were perfect, because the plants grew fast and wild, and the state didn't really care. They were planting other things, like flowers, to stop erosion, and didn't notice the hemp sneaking in. Or maybe they did, who knows? I nodded, trying to take it all in. The Everglades felt bigger now, stranger. A world that existed alongside the one I knew, but hidden, secret, untamed. I imagined people lying in the grass, faces flushed in the sun, quiet laughter mixing with the buzzing of insects. We continued along the highway, and I kept my eyes peeled. Every few miles, another car, another group of people, another glimpse into this secret world. It wasn't dangerous, not really. But it was exhilarating in a way I hadn't felt before. It felt like discovering a hidden code, a rhythm of the road that only some knew how to read. Later, when the sun was high and the air thick with heat, we pulled into a rest stop. I still couldn't stop thinking about the people on the roadside, their small bundles of green plants, the secret lives they carried on the edge of the road. I asked Dad if he ever tried any. He laughed, shaking his head. "Not me. I've always liked my adventures in the sun, not in the weeds. But I knew plenty of people who would stop for hours to gather it. That's why you see so many cars pulled over. That, and they're in no hurry, they're doing what they came for." I remember the smell in the air as we drove past the first group, sharp, sweet, unfamiliar. It clung to the car windows, mingling with the damp scent of the swamp. It made me dizzy just to watch them, though I didn't understand why at the time. Even as the day wore on, the pattern repeated: cars pulled over, crouching figures, the quiet work of harvesting something no one else could see from the road. I felt like I was traveling through two worlds at once, one of highways and vacation, one of secret harvests, of plants growing wild, of laughter and whispered voices in the grass. By the time we reached our hotel near the edge of the Everglades, the sun was sinking low, painting the sky pink and gold. I tried to explain it to my mother, who shook her head with a tired smile. "You'll understand when you're older," she said. But I did understand, in a way. I understood that there were hidden layers to the world, places where nature and people coexisted in strange and unexpected ways. That day, Alligator Alley was more than a road. It was a living, breathing secret, with weeds that carried laughter, sun, and the scent of mystery along its shoulders. And even now, decades later, I remember the cars on the shoulder, the people lying in the grass, the bundles of wild green, and the way the Everglades seemed to hold its breath, watching it all, keeping its secret safe.